Hi, everybody. Welcome to What I Listened to This Week. We are here today with a full panel of folks. We haven't had a full panel in a while, so this is really exciting. This is Melanie, and we are excited because we have a new panelist today. Drum roll. Oh, gosh, that's so loud. So we have a new. So first of all, our existing panel that we have met before, Erik is here. Hi, Erik. And Anthony is here. Hi, Anthony. But we have a new panelist, Cassandra, is here today. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Yeah.
I'm Cassandra. I'm a college student. I'm studying arts and entertainment technologies. And I just applied for a second major in radio, television, and film. So this is kind of like...
Yes, this is perfect. Where do you go to school?
UT Austin.
Okay,
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Well, that's really exciting. This is perfect. So, I mean, you probably are going to know more than most of us anyway.
Eventually. Not yet.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So in terms of our icebreaker, we always have an icebreaker every week. And our icebreaker this week is what is the most interesting or the coolest, most unique, whatever it might be, music venue or place where you've seen music? It doesn't necessarily have to be like an official venue, but a place that you've seen live music, and why was it so cool and unique? And Erik, I'm going to toss it to you first.
I was in Denver, and I heard about a concert. It wasn't supposed to be a concert. It was supposed to be a workshop. But it was at a house in Denver, and it was Chico Freeman Jr. and Kenny Barron. And they're both like, giants. Mm-hmm. And we were in this house, and it sat about 30 people. I mean, that was the maximum capacity. So I was in the front row, so I was like, 3 feet away. And it was just an incredible show, and I was just curious how KUVO sponsored it. KUVO is the jazz station. And they said, well, we came to do a workshop, and this was supposed to be it, but it just turned out into a concert.
Wow. How did you say how long ago this was? Sorry.
Must have been 1990s.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's interesting that it was like kind of a house party, but it was also a Kubo thing.
Yeah, but it just didn't. I mean, the maximum capacity was about 30 people, and I just wonder how they had mismanaged it so much, because they could have had hundreds of people to see these guys. Totally. It was free.
Wow. That's wild.
Yeah.
Man, the 90s.
Yeah. So it was very good.
Cool. That's awesome. Wow. I'm sure it was an amazing.
It was. Kenny Barron Kenny Barron is still alive and still playing, but he really sort of made a name for himself, and he was playing with Stan Getz Stan Getz was dying of cancer, and he and Kenny Barron had done some great duet albums, and it was magical.
Yeah. Wow. That's cool.
Nice.
All right, Anthony.
So the theater I'm thinking of is in Chicago, and it used to be a regular, drama theater, and it was abandoned, and someone revitalized it and had like this all-day local band concert at it. So it was a pretty big auditorium, and it had all of this like 19th century ornate decorations in it, and it sat probably about 3,000 or 4,000, but it wasn't even close to that. It was maybe 1,000 people. And I don't even remember what the bands were, but it was such a cool setting, and it was so great to see that the theater was being used again. And so that's the one that sticks in my mind.
Cool. That's cool. Very cool. All right, Cassandra.
All right. So Austin is the self-proclaimed live musical capital of the world. Sorry, music capital. So there's a lot of venues like all around the city. But there's this one street called Red River Street that's just lined on both sides with bars and small venues and that kind of thing. And I was walking down the street one time, and one of these bars had like a stage in the front of it, and they were like a rap boy band or something. It was kind of a weird musical combination, but it was interesting just seeing them performing essentially on the street for people to just walk by and stand there and listen if they wanted to.
That's really cool. Yeah, Austin has I love the like bar and music scene in Austin. It's so cool. And what a great place to see. I mean, it is the capital of the world. It's a great place to see live music. That's so neat. All right. So mine is, I actually don't even know what the venue is called. I have no idea. But when I was studying in college in London, I took a class. It was one of those like freebie, like there was really no work to be done in this class, but it was like called like music, like modern music of England, of like London or so. It was basically we would just go see shows every night. that was the class. And then the next day we would show up hungover and we would talk about like the show. Like this is literally like what the class was. It was so bizarre, but I got college credit for it. So it's great. But we were doing like a unit on dubstep and this was like a million years ago. It was like 2008 or something. So it was a while. So dubstep, I feel like was sort of emerging. I feel like it wasn't like a big thing yet. I hadn't heard of it at the time. And so we were talking about dubstep. So the homework for that night was we went to go see a dubstep show, but it was in a venue that was carved out of a highway overpass or a tube overpass, like an overground overpass. I don't remember if it was a train or if it was a car over. It was some kind of cement overpass, but I remember like, because our teacher would like chaperone us to these things, and he was like, "Come on, kids!" And we're like going down this like dark, like dank little tunnel, and then you go into this doorway that was like inside an overpass. So that was interesting, and I've like heard of other venues like that since then. Like I haven't been to another one like that, but I just remember it was like, wow, this is very unique. I don't think I would ever go. Like I probably wouldn't have like sought that out on my own. But it was fascinating. I remember really enjoying the show too. I mean, it was like, dark and crowded and loud, but it's dubstep in an overpass. But yeah, so that was that interesting venue, I guess.
How was the sound in there?
It was good. I mean, again, this was a very long time ago, but I do remember it being like surprisingly. Like you'd think in something like that it would be so loud because of like the bouncing off the cement.
Stuff,
yeah. But it actually wasn't terrible. I just remember it being like very, very, very crowded and lots of like sweaty people dancing. But it was definitely a unique experience for me for sure. Alrighty, so we're gonna get into the music now. So for those of you who haven't listened before, I realize we never really explain this in podcasts and you may not come into episode 1, but basically the way it works is we all bring a song. It's sort of secret in terms of like, we don't really share it in advance what it is. And then we play it and then we essentially just react to it. The only rules really are if you don't like it, totally fine, but you have to say why. You can't just be like, I don't like it. That's it. And then the other rules generally is that if you're a repeat guest, we ask that you try not to bring like the same genre over and over and over again, like switch it up a little bit. But we're kind of less strict with that. Yeah, that's the parameters. So we're gonna start with Erik tonight. Erik, do you want to give like a little spiel beforehand, or do you just want to dive right in?
I started listening to this because I was sent a playlist of Mardi Gras music, and this roughly falls into that genre really pretty roughly.
Okay.
And it's like I was between this and some Trombone Shorty, but I decided, well, why not? Let's just do it.
Let's just do it. Okay.
Turn that beat up.
Oh, let's go!
Big ass, big mouth, big bands, big house. Everything I do is big. Chillin' that big Freedia house. All I drop is big shit. Toilet boys be cleaning out. I pull up in that black thing. I do is say I roll out. Big bang, big tank, bang, bang, shots out. All of y'all can eat this up like level at the cookout. Looking pretty from the south. Money chasing, fuck the clout. Settle down, children, before I bring my pedal out.
I got the juice to make the girls want to move. I got the juice to make the girls want to move. I got the juice to make the I got the juice to make the I got the juice to make the girls. Let's go. Bodies on the floor, percolating to the floor, getting nice, sweating boots. Now you're
on the balls, big balls, cause they ball on your cloud chase for big weight. I'm sniffing all you hoes out. MC Hammer time. I'm about to bring the hammer out. Everybody get up in a circle, take your weave out. This the type of beat that like it needs to push your back out. Baby fat and fatty jeans, baby face no lace out. Baby makes my lace out, don't think my them credit cards is maxed out. We get a black and change the drop is effortless. No comparison. Bitch, I'm killing it. I'm moving up like the Jefferson.
I got the juice to make the girls want to. I got the juice to make the girls want to. I got the juice to make the. I got the juice to make the. I got the juice to make the girls want to. Bodies on the floor, percolating to the floor, getting loose when it beats my ear. Bodies on the floor, percolating to the floor, getting loose when it beats my ear. Erik on the floor.
All right. That was really short.
It was really short.
Is that normal?
That's okay.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure I got the right one. Cool. All right. Take it away.
It's a bouncy song. It's very New Orleans. It's got some of that New Orleans brass band sound. It's also got kind of a Parliament Funkadelic sound combined. And it's just fun, and it's short, and I like it. It always energizes me when I hear that.
Yeah. I love the like New Orleans instrumentation, I guess, of
Yeah.
it is really cool. So I guess I could see it sort of with like, you know, some kind of New Orleans or Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely felt like a party song, which
Yeah.
is really fun. I liked all the like things in the background and the instrumental, like all the various noises that kind of added layers to it. Thought that was cool.
Yeah, it reminded me of Black Eyed Peas and other kind of rap, like where they bring in other sounds besides just the person rapping. It's a little bit more complex. So yeah, I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Cool.
How did you come across this again?
I'd been listening to Mardi Gras music. So more traditional stuff
yeah.
like, you know, Professor Longhair and the Meters and Neville Brothers, and it sort of just reminded me I was in New Orleans in about 2000, and it was for a show, trade show. You know, I was doing trade shows in those days. And I got to go to a party, and Aaron Neville was there and singing on the street. And I was hanging out with all these guys who were like PhDs in arcane disciplines, and they got really loaded, and they were like hanging from lampposts with one hand, and smoking cigarettes, and doing all this stuff that you've never seen them do before.
Wow.
So it sort of reminds me of that spirit, because it's New Orleans, and when people down there party, they party.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Do you know anything about the artist? Like any?
No, but
details
she's
on
got a fairly lengthy discography. So, and not all of her music is bouncy and explicit like that is. Some of it's pretty mellow R&B, but this is sort of the side of her that I like.
Yeah. And it's a cool, like, it's definitely like a party jam for
Yeah.
sure. Love that.
Yeah, you're at the front of the parade.
Yep.
You can do this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else on that one, guys?
That's all I got.
It's so short. I feel like we should listen to it again. All right. Well, thank you, Erik. Okay, so coming up next is Anthony's selection, which is Take California
Yeah.
by the Propellerheads.
Yeah.
Any intro, or should we just dive in?
I was looking for a song to help me get energized for a walk. And I remembered this song, and so I played it, and I wanted to share it.
And it did the trick. And we chose the short version.
That's fine.
Because you said there's a longer version,
Yeah.
but okay. All right, so Take California by Propellerheads.
It's a great pleasure. It's a great pleasure. It's a great pleasure to have all of you here today. I thought you all might begin your tour here.
Senator, welcome to our microphone.
Is there anything of yours that we could keep as a memento of this visit?
Take California.
All right. Explain yourself. I'm just kidding. No. So how'd you come across this one? What's this one? Why was it your choice other than getting motivated?
Yeah. Let's see. My wife Nancy introduced me to them. I don't know where she heard about them. This is they're an interesting story. They came from Bath, England, the mid to late 90s. And this is their only album. One of the guys, he got sick. I don't know from what, but he passed away soon after. So this was like their only creation. And the album is quite remarkable. It's got, probably most people know the song History Repeating. That's them as well with this older singer. I can't remember her name right now. And then they also did a bunch of Bond songs that were used in different Bond movies. And like their stuff has been sampled and resampled over and over again all over the place. So they're really kind of genesis of the genre is called big beat, which is supposed to, I guess, like a afterthought of another genre called breakbeat, which is using like old funk or jazz, like drum solos and stuff as the main meat of the music. And yeah, I've always liked this album. It's always like, you know, when I need to like get up, beat again, and or get beat up, you know, beat up by the music.
Feel better after getting beat
yes.
up. Yep.
I'll listen to this. So that's the story.
I can totally picture you walking, like speed walking to this song. It's got like the perfect beat for like the.
Yeah, it really does. I got like Moby vibes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I mean, 90s and
Yeah.
England. I mean, it all kind of makes sense, I guess. But
Some house.
yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you know what the sample is? The Take California sample? Like what that is that they're pulling from?
I don't.
I'm really curious.
It was cool.
It is
I like
cool.
that. It was definitely like working out at the gym music.
Yeah.
Yes. Definitely workout music.
Yeah. I find I enjoy this kind of music more as I get older. I feel like when I was younger, I was like, oh, there's not enough like angst in this music. Or there's no like.
You and angst.
I know. I should have had it. I'm glad I didn't, but I probably should have had it tattooed on my arm when I was like 15. So angry. But I think what I enjoy about it is, yes, it's like motivating. And I find that I use music a lot more as I'm more emotionally mature to like, you know, help, you know, get through, you know, I'm feeling down, I'm going to listen to something, or, you know, that to kind of like help get you motivated for certain things or help you, you know, feel better. And so I find that I seek out music like this more because there aren't like lyrics that you're like attached to, right? Where you're just like, you know, oh, I totally get what they're singing about, right? But it's just like the beat, it's the sound. And that's really what I feel like I tend to gravitate more now. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. This one's going to definitely go on my workout playlist for sure.
Yeah. And the long version is, it's a little bit different. I had never heard the short version before. So the long version is definitely worth listening to as well. Cause it brings in a couple different other sounds. And I mean, it's repetitive. If people don't like repetitive music, it's not for them. But if you're doing something repetitive, it's great. So
Yeah. I mean, working out, cleaning.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. That's cool. It's really interesting. Anything else on that one, guys? All right. Fascinating stuff. Thanks, Anthony. All righty. Coming up next, Cassandra, it's your debut. So the song you chose for today is Lavender Bones by Stand Atlantic. Do you want to give a little intro?
Yeah, so I saw this band. They were opening for another band I went to go see called Set It Off. And I just really fell in love with like their energy and one of their songs. I can't remember which one it was. I don't even think they played this one at the show that I went to. But there was another one of their songs that was just stuck in my head for a couple days afterwards. And so I went and looked up more of their music and fell in love.
Cool. Did you see them down in Texas or in Austin?
Yes, that's where I saw them open. But then I saw them again over last summer in California.
Oh, okay. Cool. All right. So this is Lavender Bones by Stand Atlantic. Yeah. Is this on?
Sick of having empty habits leading to the selfish havoc. I'm lonely in my own bones. You're unweaving where you stand. Stitch me into all your plans. Just like a cherry stone. Temporary fleeting thrills keep me bruised and make me ill. My skin has lavender tones. Tell me I'm a loaded gun. Tie me up and come undone. I could cover it up. 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 I know I'm not on my death, but I just float in it. I'm trying to do my best. I pick your fights with it. I wanna be upset. You're not alright with it. I could cover it up. I could cover it up. I'm trying to speak my mind, but she was by design. And I can only confess to having doubts with it. Don't wanna feel regret. I'm not alright with it. I could cover it up. I could cover it up.
letting it calm my spine. Temporary fleeting thrills keep me bruised and make me ill. My lonely lavender bones tell me how to hurt for fun. Tie me up and come undone. I could cover it up, I could cover it. I know I'm not on my deathbed, I just float in it. I'm trying to do my best, I'm picking fights with it. I wanna be upset, you're not alright with it. I could cover it up, I could cover it. I'm trying to speak my mind, wish it was by design. But I can only confess to having doubts with it. Don't wanna feel regret, I'm not alright with it. I could cover it up, I could cover it. Whatever I've done, chewing on my words, nothing's enough. I lose myself in the dirt, sold all my time to a plastic ecstasy. Nothing's enough. I know I'm out of my depth, but I just float in it. I'm trying to do my best, I'm picking fights with it. I wanna be upset, you're not alright with it. I could cover it up, I could cover it. I'm trying to speak my mind, wish it was by design. But I can only confess to having doubts with it. Don't wanna feel regret, I'm not alright with it. I could cover it up, I could cover it.
All right. Anything else to add other than your intro?
I mean, yeah, I wanted to bring a song from this band because they're kind of a newer band. I think they formed in 2012, so not very super well known. They're also from Australia, so that doesn't help.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah, you can kind of hear it in some of their other songs. You can really hear accent come through. But yeah, I just really like this band because I feel like, especially in rock music, there aren't a lot of women. So it's refreshing to hear from, as my mom would say, not another whiny white dude.
Oh my gosh, she sounds like me. That's great. I love that. Yeah, I love anytime there's female representation in especially in rock, because it's there's not a lot of it there. And I mean, this kind of, I think, when I was your age, I probably would have like sought out more bands like this. Absolutely. This definitely, like, it strikes that nostalgia bone for me because it sounds a lot like music I listened to when I was in high school and college. And
Like what?
what did I love to listen to? I loved Something Corporate. That was like a big band that I love. They're a little softer. They're not as like rocky, hard rocky. There was, I'm like, my brain is like totally blanking right now. You put me on the spot. It's
Sorry.
good. No, it's good. Rufio. Did anybody listen to Rufio? That was another one that I really loved. I mean, basically anybody who was on Warped Tour were bands that I love to listen to, and I'm totally blanking on. I loved Boxcar Racer, which I think was somebody from Blink-182 maybe who went over. Paramore.
Yes. I know Paramore.
Yeah. I'm sure I'll think of like a million once we stop recording too. But those are the ones that top of my head. But yeah, I love the energy. Like, sometimes you just want to like listen to music like this and just like, I don't know, jam out, good, bad, whether they're sad in the song or mad or happy or whatever it is. I love the energy behind it. And, yeah.
How many people?
In the band, 4. Yeah.
They made a lot of noise for
4 people. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big sound for sure.
Yeah, I like that about it. It was very energetic and lots of sound out of them. And they reminded me of something that my daughter listens to. And I can't think of what it is. but I liked it.
They sounded like if Taylor Swift took a mean pill.
Isn't
So like
that
what Demi
every-
Lovato's doing right
Yes.
now.
Yeah. Lovato, that's the other one I was thinking of. That reminded me of those artists. I didn't care for it. It was, it was okay, but it sounded very similar to other music I've heard before, and I wouldn't seek it out.
Yeah, I think for me, it's one of those. It's like just the stuff I listen to now, and like the channels and that I'm on and all that kind of stuff. It's probably not going to come across my plate, but I'm not going to like be mad about it if it does, because like I was saying, it reminds me of so much other music that I used to listen to, at a different time in my life that I was very angsty. But it's not a bad thing, right? I'm just going to say that every time we do this now, Eric, just to set you off. Angst. But yeah, they must have been killer to see live.
It was fun, yeah.
A lot of energy.
Definitely.
Yeah. See, that's the thing too for me. I think that I didn't appreciate as much in my younger years is like how good the show is live. Even if it's not music necessarily that I would seek out or really enjoy. If they put on a good show, they put on a good show. I mean, you can't really argue with that, right? Cool. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for bringing that and joining us and all that. That was cool. Anything else on that one before I move on, guys? All right. Okay, last one up for today is from me. This is the song is called I feel like I'm saying this wrong. Reisster eggs. It's Reisster. Reisster?
Sure.
Reisster? I don't know. And the band is
Reisster.
Reisster, maybe?
If it's German.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I like did a quick Google to like try to figure it out. Didn't get anywhere because just the song showed up. But anyway, the band is called ATOMGA. And that's all I'm gonna say. We'll listen to it and then we'll talk after. All right. Yeah, so that was ATOMGA. They are a local band, Colorado. Whoop.
Really?
Yeah. And I saw them in Fort Collins at Foco MX a couple weekends ago. Talk about live shows. Holy moly. I mean, I walked into it. I saw 2 songs in their set. That was it, because I showed up late. Because I was meeting up with some friends, and they were like, oh, we're at this one. And so I went and met up with them. And man, if I could have gotten there earlier, it would have been great. But they put on an amazing live show. So that's what sort of got me hooked. But then I listened to this particular album called Black Belt last weekend, because I was like, I gotta listen to more of these guys. Like I gotta get in. So I'm pretty new to them, and actually just completely picked this song at random earlier today, because I was like, I want something off this album, but I don't feel like super well versed in it. So I'm like, I'm just gonna pick this one. But one thing that I noticed that I love about this song, and that I feel a lot of their songs on this particular album do, is they sort of have this like layering and building throughout the song. So almost every song starts with like some kind of cool little riff, like that guitar lick, and then it just layers on top. But yeah, they are sort of describe themselves as kind of as like Afrobeat mixed with jazz, mixed with like some other world influences. I feel like I was reading about them today. They've opened for bands in Nigeria, but they have a beer named after them in Brazil, but they're from Colorado. I mean, they've got influences from like all over the place, which is kind of cool. But I just love all the different instruments, the layering. I love the singer's voice. And what I've noticed too in a lot of the songs is like, she often comes in like minute and a half, 2 minutes in, like you don't think there's going to be singing, then all of a sudden there's lyrics. That doesn't seem unusual for their music. But yeah. Thoughts?
They sound like they're so Afrobeat to me.
Yeah.
And that's sort of my wheelhouse, because I listen to a lot of Afrobeat. A lot of Fela Kuti influence. Just really, wow. Didn't know they're from Colorado.
Right in our backyard.
Yeah, they're really good. I will definitely listen to them again.
Yeah, I heard the layers. I was thinking like a little big band, a little like calypso, and yeah, definitely some Afro beat. I really enjoyed it. I was looking up the name. ATOMGA means is Polynesian. Is a cultural hero, half mortal, half spirit. He invented canoes.
Okay.
Okay.
And how do you spell that?
It's ATOMGA.
Oh, okay, then I spelled it wrong.
Oh, okay. All right, never mind.
Never mind. Not a problem.
Everybody forget that. Yeah, and it's like all caps, the way that they spell it. It's all caps. So I don't know if it stands for something, like if it's an acronym, or if it's just, some bands just, that's how they spell it.
Something that stood out to me immediately was like the time signature. I can't tell exactly what it is. My guess is either 3/4 or like 4/6 or something, but it's not like the regular one that you would hear in like most songs on the radio. And I thought that was really interesting. Yeah, and then also what you said about the singer coming in like a couple minutes in.
Surprise.
Yeah, it surprised me.
Yeah.
But it was a good addition for sure.
So apparently, since you said that you know a lot about Afrobeat, listen to it a lot, do you know if there's like a particular time signature that they tend to stick to?
They don't, but it's because of the jazz influence.
Yeah.
That they do a lot of different time signatures.
Yeah. I feel like I should be able to figure this out.
Yeah, you're the music pro here.
I know, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it would be, but yeah, maybe 6/8.
Maybe 6/8.
Yeah, that would be my guess. 6/8 or 9/8 would be my guess. But
so anywhere that they're playing,
They're playing in Arvada in June, I believe.
I'm going to go hunt them down.
That's all that was listed on their site. I could have sworn at the end of their set when I saw them in Fort Collins, they were like, "Oh, we're playing somewhere like sooner," but I missed it.
June 1st.
Yeah.
Old Town Square in Fort Collins.
Yeah, it's some kind of. Oh, is it in Fort Collins? You
Yeah.
said. Okay, I think they're doing another show maybe in Arvada later in June. That must be the one. The one in Fort Collins must be the one they were talking about. But yeah, they are definitely worth the drive. Not that it's that far, but they're so good. I will. I was absolutely. Sergio saw them as well, and we were like, "This is a band that we would seek out to see again because they were so incredible."
Maybe we should do a field trip.
Oh, field trip. Live broadcast. They've been around. I just pulled up like their little bio here. They've been around since 2011. So they've been around for a fair amount of time. Unique brand of Afrobeat with infused elements of rock, jazz, and even classical influence. So for the foundation of polyrhythms from their fierce percussion section. Makes sense. Yeah, definitely recommend them. Definitely recommend listening to that. I listened to that album front to back. And then again last weekend, and it was so good. Nice. But they've got other albums too. I think that one came out in 2015, and they have a newer one that's been out since then. So, yeah. Anything else? Any other thoughts? Feedback?
Great band.
Yeah.
Really great band.
Yeah, good stuff. I'm glad you liked it, Erik. Oh man, that's great. Cassandra, any closing thoughts on your first What I Listened to This Week appearance?
I mean, it's always nice to listen to other people's music, I think, especially in the spaces I surround myself with. It's kind of just sort of the same in different fonts, so it's cool to hear something different.
Yeah, that's what I love about it too, because I feel like even though everybody always says, I listen to everything, like you find yourself doing the same things over and over again. It's nice to broaden your horizons a little bit. All right. Well, if you want to suggest a song that we listen to on a future episode, you can leave a comment in the YouTube comments. You can also email us. This is always where Sergio comes in. hello@longmontpublicmedia.org, I think is the email.
Yeah, or radio at
longmontpublicmedia.org. This also rebroadcasts on LPMX, which is the Longmont Public Media radio station. So you can listen to it there. Yeah, and let us know what you think, and call us out if you think we're wrong, or you want us to listen to something different, or you didn't like it, or you loved it. Let us know what you think.
Or if you have a theme you would like us to use.
Oh yeah, we've talked about doing themes before. That might be something we could do in the future. So if there's a theme you want to do, sounds good. Yeah. Anything else, guys, before we wrap it?
Oh, I'd like to say, have a shout out to our fans in Texas.
Yeah, shout out to the fans in Texas. Thank you for listening and tuning in. Send us your suggestions, fans in Texas. Want to hear them. All right, thanks everyone. See you later.